Hi all. What are some things you will be doing tomorrow at this time?
I will be watching TV.
My friend Rahul will be playing football.
What you're describing here is something that will happen at a specific time in the future. This is called the future continuous tense. What do you understand by future continuous? The name itself gives you a good idea of what this tense is. Here, future means it is about the future. It's about something that happens after now and continues for some time. Now, can you define future continuous tense? The future continuous tense describes an action that will be ongoing at a specific time in the future. For example, I will be studying at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Let us draw a timeline here. Everything before now is in the past, and everything after now is the future. See the grammatical structure of future continuous tense. Subject plus will be plus verb in ing form. Example: he will be eating dinner at 7 p.m. Learn how the future continuous tense differs from the simple future tense. See the example of a simple future tense. Example: I will call you later. And now see the example of the future continuous tense. Example: I will be calling you at 7 p.m. In the first example, using the simple future, you are just stating that you plan to make a call at some point in the future. There is no specific time mentioned or any focus on the duration of the action. It simply says that the action means calling will happen in the future. But it doesn't give any more detail about when or for how long. Now, in the second example, using the future continuous tense, you are not just saying that you will call, but you are also emphasizing that the action of calling will be happening at a specific time in the future. That is, at 7 p.m. The tense conveys that at 7 p.m., you will be in the middle of the action. This detail of timing and ongoing progress is something the simple future cannot express. The simple future tense is useful for general future actions. But the future continuous tense adds more detail, especially when you need to focus on actions in progress at a future time. See one more example of general future actions using the simple future tense. Example: I will go to the supermarket tomorrow. This sentence states that the action of going to the supermarket will happen in the future. It does not specify when exactly or for how long. It only indicates the intention to go to the supermarket at some point tomorrow. Where the future continuous tense is commonly used. First, future continuous describes an action happening at a specific time in the future. Example: at 12:30, I will be taking my Hindi exam. Let's say the person started taking the exam at 12:30. Suppose it's finishing at 3:30. So 12:30, 1:30, 2, 3:30. During that entire period, that person will be taking his Hindi exam. Other examples. This time on Wednesday, I'll be flying to Delhi. In 2 hours, she'll be having her lunch. At 10 p.m. tonight, I will be watching a movie. Second, the future continuous is used for an action in progress in the future that is interrupted by a shorter action. For example, I will be studying when my friend arrives. Third, we can also use it when we describe different activities or actions that are continuing simultaneously. For example, on Tuesday, Amit will be giving a presentation, and Ravi will be meeting a client. So here, We have two parts or two things that use the future continuous tense. We said, Amit will be giving a presentation, and Ravi will be meeting a client. You could say 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, or any number. With future continuous tense, it doesn't matter. There could be many things that are happening at the same time, and they're continuing at the same time. Fourth, future continuous is used to predict the present. For example, please don't call him now. He'll be sleeping. Next, fifth, we also use the future continuous tense to talk about or to ask polite questions or make polite enquiries about someone's plans. Example, will you be watching TV this evening? Here, you just want to know if the TV will be free. Generally, people who are in the hospitality industry or customer service use this style of speaking. For example, somebody might ask in a hotel, will you be checking in early? They could say, will you check in early? But somehow, it is much more polite to use the future continuous tense and to ask, will you be checking in early? More examples are as follows. Will you be staying for lunch? Will you be attending the wedding? Sixth, future continuous is used for arrangements, often as a reminder or warning. We'll be leaving at 10 o'clock. The hidden message is don't be late. Now, let's look at when not to use the future continuous tense because there are certain situations in which we cannot use this tense. In English, there are 2 kinds of verbs, dynamic verbs and stative verbs. A dynamic verb is an action verb. For example, eat, run, drink. And a stative verb describes a condition, a state, or a situation. Stative verbs can refer to emotional states, mental states, things you own or possess, or other things. So, in the future continuous tense, and actually in any continuous tense, we cannot use stative verbs. There, we use the future simple tense. So, let's look at a few examples. It would be wrong to say, Sunita will be loving this toy. In English, we cannot say that. That is not correct because love is a stative verb. You should be saying instead, Sunita will love this toy, which is not future continuous but future simple. All right? For certain kinds of mental states. For example, Amit will be understanding the problem soon. That's wrong. We cannot say that. We would need to use future simple there and just say, Amit will understand the problem soon. Next, when we are talking about something that we possess, something that we have, or something that we own, there, we cannot use the continuous form. So, we cannot say, she will be having a new car next month. That's wrong. We need to say instead, she will have a new car next month. This phone will be costing rupees 10,000 more next week. That is incorrect because cost is also a stative verb. So, instead of that, you would need to say, this phone will cost rupees 10,000 more next week. So pay attention. It's really important not to use stative verbs with any continuous tense. How to form positive, negative, and question future continuous sentences. A. Affirmative or positive sentences. The structure of affirmative or positive sentences. Subject plus will be plus verb in ing form. Look at these examples of affirmative or positive sentences of future continuous tenses. Example 1. They will be playing football. Example 2. We will be having dinner at 9 tonight. Example 3. She will be going to school by this time next week. Example 4. This time, next Wednesday, I'll be flying to Delhi. B. Negative sentences. The structure of negative sentences. Subject plus will not be plus verb in ing form. To make a negative future continuous sentence, we use one of the auxiliary verbs will and not. The second auxiliary verb, be, stays with the main verb. Look at these examples of negative sentences of future continuous tenses. Example 1. She will not be attending the meeting. Example 2. We will not be having dinner at 9 tonight. Example 3. She will not be going to school by this time next week. Example 4. I won't be flying to Delhi this time next week. C. Question sentences. The structure of question sentences. Will plus subject plus be verb in ing form. We make questions by inverting the subject and auxiliary verb. With future continuous tense, we have two auxiliary verbs, will and be. So we invert the first one, will, with the subject. The other one, be, stays with the main verb. Look at these examples of question sentences of future continuous tenses. Example 1. Will you be going to the party tomorrow? Example 2. Will we be having dinner at 9 tonight? Example 3. Will she be going to school by this time next week? Example 4. What time will we be having dinner tonight? Thank you for watching. I hope this lesson on the future continuous tense has helped you understand how to express ongoing actions in the future. Using this tense can add more clarity and detail to your conversations about future plans.